Bad Bunny is about to hit one of the biggest stages on Earth. And now, according to multiple reports, he's walking toward it with a $16 million lawsuit hanging over his head. And the craziest part is what the lawsuit is actually about. Not a stolen beat, not a leaked song, but a woman's voice, a single spoken line that the lawsuit alleges ended up in his music, got tied to his brand, and was used in concerts and merchandise without her permission. If you think this is just another celebrity lawsuit, stay with me, because this one is all about identity, consent, and who profits when a moment becomes a worldwide catchphrase. Let's lock in what's confirmed and what's alleged. According to USA Today, a woman named Tainali Y. Serrano Rivera filed a lawsuit in Puerto Rico on January 5th. The defendants named in reports include Bad Bunny, his label Rimas Entertainment, and his producing partner Roberto Rosado, also known as La Paciencia. Rolling Stone reports the suit is seeking $16 million in damages, and the basis described across coverage centers on alleged violations tied to privacy and publicity rights. That's the legal framing being reported, but the emotional framing is what's making people spiral online. The lawsuit alleges her voice helped build an iconic Bad Bunny moment and she never got a say. Now, the heart of the case, according to Rolling Stone, Pitchfork, and USA Today, is a spoken audio line that Rivera claims is her voice. Reports say that line appears in two Bad Bunny songs, Solo de Mi from his 2018 album X100 Pre, and EOO from his 2025 album. If you've heard those tracks, you know the type of moment we're talking about. That quick, punchy voice clip that feels like it belongs to the world of the song. And that's exactly why this is such a big deal, because the lawsuit alleges it didn't just stay inside the song. It allegedly spilled into the brand. The spoken phrase itself has been quoted in reporting. It's Spanish and includes profanity, and outlets have provided different rough translations. USA Today explains it in the context of perreo, the intimate dance style associated with Reggaeton, while the News and Geo provide a more general, don't take away my vibe kind of meaning. Pitchfork gives the pop culture translation that makes it click for a lot of English-speaking viewers. It's basically framed as a Puerto Rican equivalent of, don't kill my vibe. Either way, the important part isn't the exact English wording. It's that, as reported, the line became recognizable. And when a recognizable line becomes part of a superstar's image, people start asking, who owns that? Here's where the story gets personal, at least according to what the lawsuit alleges. Rolling Stone reports Rivera claims she recorded that line back in 2018 at the request of producer Roberto Rosado / La Paciencia, and that they were students together at the Inter-American University of Arecibo tied to a theater program. Pitchfork similarly reports the claim that Rosado solicited the recording while they were students. Rivera's position, as described across coverage, including USA Today and AsiaOne, is that she never signed a contract and never agreed to the recording being used commercially. Think about what that means in plain language. The lawsuit is basically saying, I thought I was recording something casually, and it ended up in a global product. And then comes the part that makes this feel bigger than a sample dispute. According to reporting summarized by Rolling Stone, Rivera claims the line became an instantly recognizable catchphrase linked to Bad Bunny, and she alleges it was used beyond the songs, played during concerts and tied into merchandise. Vice also reports that the sample was performed in concert, and Geo notes claims around its broader commercial use. If you're a Bad Bunny fan, you already know how his shows can turn a single moment into a stadium-wide chant. So the lawsuit's basic argument, as reported, is, if my voice became part of the performance and the product, then it wasn't just background sound, it was identity. Now let's talk money, because $16 million is not a small number. According to Rolling Stone, Rivera is seeking $16 million from Bad Bunny, Rimas, and Rosado. And before anyone screams cash grab, remember, a lawsuit asks for an amount, and the court process decides what's justified, if anything. At this stage, what's public in these articles is the allegation and the demand, not a final decision. The point, though, is the number tells you how serious the claim is. She's not asking for a symbolic apology. She's alleging real-world commercial impact and asking for real-world compensation. And now the timing, which is where this gets extra viral. According to Vice, the lawsuit lands ahead of Bad Bunny's Super Bowl halftime show performance date, reported as February 8th, 2026. USA Today also highlights the Super Bowl proximity. Whether you're a fan or not, you know what that stage means. Maximum attention, maximum headlines, maximum pressure. And I'm going to be careful here because we're not doing conspiracy theories. The sources do not claim the timing was strategic, but it's fair to say what everyone is thinking. This kind of lawsuit, dropping right before the biggest performance window, instantly becomes part of the narrative around the moment. Now let's address the pattern part, because the coverage mentions this isn't the first voice-related lawsuit tied to Bad Bunny. According to USA Today, Rolling Stone, Pitchfork, AsiaOne, and The News, Bad Bunny's ex-girlfriend Carliz de la Cruz Hernandez sued him in 2023, alleging her voice was used without permission on songs including Pa T and 2016. The news reports that earlier case sought $40 million, and multiple outlets note that case is still pending. Again, allegations, not a ruling. But from a viewer's perspective, when you hear second voice lawsuit, your brain naturally goes, wait, is this becoming a recurring issue in his music ecosystem? Let's be clear about what we don't have yet. As USA Today, Rolling Stone, and Pitchfork note, representatives for Bad Bunny did not immediately respond to requests for comment, according to their reporting. So right now, the public story is dominated by what the lawsuit alleges and what outlets are summarizing from that filing. We haven't seen a detailed defense in these articles. We don't know what evidence either side will present later. We don't know if there are communications, agreements, or context not mentioned in the coverage. That's why you have to treat this like what it is right now, a claim moving through the legal system. So what happens next? According to The News and other reports, the parties are expected to respond in court in May. That's a key moment, because it's when you're likely to hear more formally what the defense is, what's disputed, and what parts are uncontested. This could settle, it could drag out like the earlier lawsuit, or it could escalate into something bigger. Again, not predicting, just laying out the normal paths lawsuits can take. But May is the next real milestone being reported. Now let's zoom out, because the reason this story is so sticky is that it taps into something bigger than Bad Bunny. It's the idea that in the studio, things can be casual. Friends, classmates, quick recordings, just do this line real fast. And then suddenly, that casual moment is on a charting album years later. In my opinion, that's the real lesson lurking under the gossip. The music industry runs on moments, but the law runs on permissions. If the lawsuit's allegations are accurate, this is exactly the kind of situation where people realize too late that informal can turn into commercial overnight. So here's my take as a pop culture watcher, not a judge. This story is exactly why artists and producers are being forced into tighter paperwork than ever. The internet loves authentic moments, but authenticity without documentation can become chaos later. If this case pushes the industry toward clearer consent and clearer credits, that might actually protect everyone. Artists, collaborators, and the people whose voices end up in the final cut. But for now, we're in the messy middle, where the claims are loud and the answers are still coming. Now, I want to hear from you. Based on what's been reported by outlets like USA Today, Rolling Stone, Pitchfork, Vice, The News, AsiaOne, and Geo, do you think this sounds like a straightforward permission issue? Like something that should have been handled with a contract from day one? Or do you think there's missing context we haven't heard yet that could change the entire story once the court filings go deeper? And how do you feel about that Super Bowl timing? Do you think it's just coincidence, or does it naturally amplify the pressure regardless of intent? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you want me to cover the May court response when it happens, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because if these reports are any sign, this Bad Bunny legal story is far from over.